Welcome to the first video in this series of videos on displaying data. In this series, we'll look at why do we even display data, what are different graphs that we can use for different types of data, how we can have different perspectives on the same data, what we need to do to look at and create consistent and good quality data displays, and then 3 different types of questions we can ask students about data displays. So let's take a look at this first activity. In this first activity, you could see we have some data here. It's the students in the class and the pets that they have at home. And then over here you see we have 4 relatively straightforward questions. Are dogs the most popular pet? How many pets do most students have? How many students have more than one pet? Are most of the pets mammals? Even with these relatively simple questions, it would take a little time to look through the data and say yes or no, dogs are the most popular pet. But if we organize this data in a data display, I'm going to have to zoom in, but we can see if we look at this data display and now I say, are dogs the most popular pet? Well, you look at the display, you just find dogs and you say, yep, for sure, there's 7 students that own dogs. The next closest is cats, which is 4. Relatively simple and straightforward. Otherwise, you would have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7 students have dogs. How many have? Well, I see cats. 1, 2, 3. So clearly, the data display just really simplifies things. How about the next question? How many pets do most students have? If I asked you to look at this video, you could pause it and you could look through these and you could probably give me an answer. However, if we look at the data organized in a display, now you can say, well, here we go. Some students have none, some have 1, some have 2, some have 3. Looks like most students fall in this 0 to 2 range. And if we wanted to be more detailed, we could, but we get a nice look there. How many of the students have more than one pet? Well, we could just look at this same display. There's 5 that have one, more than one. There's 3 here, 2 here, 1 and 1. So that gives me 5 plus 2 is 7 students have more than one pet. Okay. Yes, I would say 0 to 2. Are most of the pets mammals? So if we look at this list, you could pause it and you could look through this. Yes, I had to do a little Google search to figure out if a salamander is a reptile or what exactly a salamander is. A good review for me. And I learned a salamander is not a reptile. A salamander is actually an amphibian. So that's kind of like a frog. It starts in the water and ends up on land. And so if we look here, back to the question, are most of the pets mammals? Well, you could see mammals, there were 22. Fish, there were about 10. Reptiles, 2. Amphibians, 1. And so we see that, yes, definitely. And we also see that having data in a display is much more useful than having the raw data, at least at certain times. We do lose some information. If I said, okay, how many pets does Orlando have, and I gave you this, you wouldn't be able to answer my question because we've lost some data when we condensed it here. If I give you the chart, you could find Orlando, you could say, oh, Orlando has no pets, but you don't see that in the display. And so that's the advantage of data display, is it condenses data. It takes all of this data and condenses it into a certain format, but we also lose some data when we do that.